Welcome to Coastal Conversation, Episode 9. Thank you for listening today. Colossians 4:6 reminds us, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. My prayer is that our conversation today will do just that. Well, after an historic high school career and winning an unforgettable state championship at Daphne High School, the name Ryan Anderson is associated with football greatness around the Daphne and the Gulf Coast area. Following high school, Ryan was a key defensive player at the University of Alabama, or Roll Tide, and a semifinalist for the prestigious Butkus Award. Drafted by the Washington Redskins in the second round of the 2017 draft, Ryan achieved his goal to play in the NFL. That's what you may know. However, recently, Ryan has returned to his roots to give back to the community that built him. As the founder of 22 Builds, Ryan is a rising presence in the construction and the development industry. 22 Builds stands as a testament to his dedication to deliver excellence, mirroring the same qualities that marked his athletic career. Ryan blends his seasoned leadership skills, dedication to the community, and the pursuit of high-performance excellence to create a platform that not only transforms industries, but also uplifts those it serves. In addition to all of this, Ryan is a man that loves God, his family, and his friends, and with a loyal intensity that is not often seen. Please help me welcome to Coastal Conversations today, our friend Ryan Anderson. Well, thank you, Ryan, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
That was a long introduction, but you have a long, illustrious, awesome career that I wanted to make sure everyone knows you around Daphne as Daphne High School, football star. Mm-hmm. And then also that you played for the University of Alabama and the Washington Redskins. But I just wanted to bring you back when you came back to this community and hear, what God's doing in Ryan's life now and how your career is shifted and all the awesome things that are happening to you. So before we get to all of that, let's start from the beginning. How did you get involved in football, Ryan?
Oh, man. I started when I was, I think, 5 years old. Actually living right here in this community, this Belfort community. I had a coach, Robert Alexander, lived down the street, and his son, little Robert, we all played together. And
Wow.
He was a coach for the Loxley Bengals.
Okay.
So I started
the Loxley Bengals.
The Loxley Bengals. That was my first introduction to football, and that's how it all started.
And the love for it just began to grow from there.
Oh, yeah. I was already like a football maniac before I even started. Like, that's kind of how I went. Like, I always asked him, hey, I want to play. My mom, I want to play. I need to sign up. I need to sign up. So he took a truckload of us one day from the neighborhood, and he got all of us signed up. And
how'd the Loxley Bengals do? Did y'all win everything?
No. that first year we were terrible. So we weren't a city team. We actually played in the Pop Warner League, so we would have to travel all the way to Mobile.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's what we played on weekends, unless, we rarely had home games, but we was in the Pop Warner League where it was a league where you played by weight, and Daphne, the city league, if you overweight, you just had a strike. You couldn't run the ball. In this league, if you was overweight, you couldn't play. So everybody could run the ball. So we would go over and play against these kids who have mustaches, and I figure like all of them was probably like 10, 11 years old when we was playing, so it was different. We didn't win too much that year.
That is so funny. What would you say about youth and high school sports? What advice would you give young athletes and their parents?
That's a great question. Now, this day and age, I would feel like, I would tell the parents with all the NIL stuff and all of the money that's being passed around, I would tell these kids to really just enjoy it, especially at the youth level. Don't take it too serious. Let the kids have fun. Let them grow an organic love for the game. I feel like a lot of parents try to live through their kids and, and they run a lot of kids off from the game, So that'll be my advice, on a high school level. I would like for parents to, do the same thing, but you should have more awareness that it's a business side to it that's about to come up. A lot of people are going to be approaching your kids, so I feel like you gotta have a good background and a home base, you know, to where your kid isn't swayed by all of this stuff that's going on, you know,
Wow.
so he can't be bought or she can't be bought, you know, just have some morals and values put in place at home. And they know, like, you know, we don't go for that, you know,
Yeah, some
so
grounding has to be
exactly,
there.
exactly, because, you know, the temptation coming a lot sooner, you know, this stuff I had to deal with when I was 22 years old, making, you know, millions playing in the pros at that time, you know, these kids having to deal with it at 17 and 18.
Yeah, that's a
You
lot.
know, exactly. And I feel like I didn't even have the tools to deal with a lot of stuff that came, a lot of the stuff that came up then with me. You know, it was a lot of soul searching and digging that I had to do as a 25, 22 to 27-year-old man till I was done playing, you know, to kind of differentiate some of
That's
the stuff
good
that was going
insight.
on, you know. So I feel like now you got to prepare these kids at a younger age while at the same time trying to enjoy the game and enjoy being an amateur, you know. High school was the greatest time for me. You know, I always
Yeah.
tell these kids, you know, that I speak to at in these local high schools, like if I can go back to any place, any time and play, it wouldn't be my draft night, it wouldn't be my first NFL game, it wouldn't be my first college game. I'll go back to my freshman year at Daphne High School and I want to do it all
Wow.
again. You know, that was the best time I had
Wow.
playing with like-minded guys, fighting for this community, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So enjoy it.
That's such good advice. That's such wisdom. That is that is years of wisdom right there. If those parents could just listen to that clip, that you were not the things that athletes are dealing with nowadays earlier, and having that grounding, just giving those kids boundaries and solid roots so that they can make wise choices, even if they have to make them sooner.
Exactly.
That's a lot of wisdom, Ryan. Before we move on to your time at Alabama, so you talked about, excuse me, your time at Daphne. Talk to me a little bit about that time at Daphne High School. Man, tell me a good story, or maybe even tell me about meeting Pastor Chad and how he influenced you a little bit too. You
Definitely.
can tell me about that because you had good coaches though. You had Savarese.
I didn't play for Sav,
Oh, you didn't play
but
for.
he
Oh,
was
that's right. That's right. He was right.
he was around though.
Yeah.
Some good ones though for sure.
Yeah, your coaches. Tell us a little bit about that. Your experience at Daphne playing with TJ and all that fun stuff.
All right, so I'll take you back to ninth grade. You know,
Okay.
I was middle school. I was in and out alternative school. You know, so I was actually finished middle school, eighth grade, in alternative school, and I started ninth grade in alternative school.
Because some people don't know that you're really, really smart. And we're going to talk about this in a minute about your degrees and how really, really brilliant you are. But you masked it in middle school.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as I'm older, you know, now I feel like it was just like a lot of you know, a cry for attention. Honestly, you know what I mean. So a lot of emotions that I had, and I didn't know how to deal with them, and
That's so good.
that's how it came out. But
I heard you tried to convince a teacher one time you couldn't read in middle school.
I did
And,
in
and
high
she
school.
believed you.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, high school.
I did. Miss
That's
Huggins.
funny.
Shout out to Miss Huggins. She's still one of my favorite teachers. I love her. She was the sweetest.
Yeah.
But
That's a funny story.
so ninth grade, I get I reach out to this board of directors. This lady who was with the school board, and asked her could they let me out early.
Wow.
You know, I had like 6 weeks left in the program there, and I was like, I want to play football, and the only way I could play this year is if I get out around this time, you know. And she was like, no, the first time, but I called her every day. And then she finally, you know, my mama called me. It's like, well, she told me, you know, they're gonna let you out. Don't make her look bad. You know what I mean? So I got out, and when I got to Daphne, I had a great support system. You know what I mean? It was rough my ninth grade year, but I had coaches, I had teachers, Miss McPherson, and they all came through, and that was like the first time in school that I ever had like I felt like I had a support system where people set something up for me to succeed.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I took off at Daphne, you know, and I got into football, and that was it, you know, that was it. And 10th grade, I'm playing like nose guard. You know, I always was like a skill player in my head, running back, linebacker. And I went agreeing with like Coach Sutton, our O-line coach, and Coach Davis. We had a rough like running to my ninth grade year, like he was like the first guy that held me accountable. You know what I mean? Like that was the first coach I ever had, or male figure I had in my life, to where I went home and I was like I wanted to make him happy. You know what I mean? But I didn't like him.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I really like, it was a love. You know what I mean?
Right.
I actually I love the dude like to this day, and he stayed on me. And one day I just went to ask him, I was like, why you don't like me? And he was like, that's not the case at all. He was like, I just, you got to be better. It's certain stuff you can't do. It's certain things you don't do. You know what I mean?
He saw greatness in you.
He did. And I feel like he was the first person that did that, and he poured into me. So,
the Bible says in Proverbs that there is a deep water inside of all of us. And Proverbs says there are deep waters, and a man of understanding will draw it out. That men of understanding, men that see it, men that know, women that know, teachers, coaches, draw out that greatness.
And that was him.
Yeah.
I feel like, having the reputation I had in the community and the school system for being like a bad kid, he was one of the guys that he wasn't a comfort seeker. He found ways to engage with me and to get me to respond. Well, I ended up playing defensive line. That's what Coach Davis coached. And, as I got older, I realized he was the only one that'll take me. But I didn't want to play defensive line. So, insert, I'm on scout team. I don't want to, I'm like, man, I don't even want to be out here at this point. I meet Coach Stafford during this. He was with the O-line. So when I go to scout team, I wasn't going in at first. So Coach Stafford, he come up with this award where he'll give you whoever practices the hardest, they get a Snicker and a Gatorade.
Yep.
So
you wanted that Snicker and Gatorade.
That got me interested. So
yeah.
He get the first day go on and he get a Snicker and Gatorade to a dude. I'm like, damn, that's the king size Snickers too. Cold Gatorade at the practice. So that next day, and we really didn't even talk much. So that next day, I'm like, I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna win that Snicker and that Gatorade.
Right.
So the next practice, I end up just going hard, like crazy hard. When I even get the O-line coach ended up kicking me off the scout team. So I go down to defense and they go back to scout team. So I go back down there and I get kicked off a scout team again for just wrecking their plays. And that's kind of how it started. So at the practice, Coach Stafford coming to me, he talked to me like, son, you wanted to, and I didn't even know this at the time. I'm playing football. I didn't think I'd be playing in college. I didn't think I'd have a shot. I just wanted to play for Daphne.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a Trojan, so that's what it was about.
That's good.
He started telling me stuff. I'm like, man, this dude crazy. I can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, you got a shot. If you do what you're supposed to do, you show up, you practice like that, you be more coachable, you got a chance. I just thought it was crazy. You know what I mean? He's supposed to tell us that we're kids. He a coach. That's the coach in him. But that's kind of how it started,
Yeah.
So
he came home, I remember vividly, he came home and he said, the first time he ever saw you play, he said, there's a kid named Ryan Anderson. We will see him on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
He said, we will see him. I was like, ooh, tell me more. And then when I would come to games and I would watch you play, I would just be in awe. And you were my favorite player to ever watch at Daphne High School because you were so scrappy. And I love scrappy players. But you could tell it was from your heart. You could tell that you loved it and that it meant something to you. It was more than getting your name out there. It was more than getting a scholarship to go play at the next level. It was about that game, that team, that moment, and doing the best you could.
No doubt.
And giving your 100% every single game. I don't think that there was ever a game I watched you in the 4 years that you didn't give 100% and then some at Daphne. And even got, flagged for double pushing. That was my favorite when you would really get into it and you would.
You're acting a fool.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But that's those memories were so good. Patrick Chad still does that. He still does the Snicker bar and Gatorade. This last year he helped at Bayside and he did the Snicker bar Gatorade with his kickers and they're like, what is this? And I was like, they don't know.
They don't
know.
This kid's different now. He probably got to get something else. But Dan, that's
king size Snicker bar Gatorade,
at
next
the practice,
level.
Yeah, ain't no snack bar open and none of that. So
yeah.
I'm trying to win it every day.
That's awesome. So tell us about, so after Daphne, you begin to get recruited by Coach Saban. And tell us about that experience. And then you go to Alabama, right?
Definitely, definitely.
So tell us what that was like. What were you feeling? What were you thinking when that happened?
All right, I got my first offer after my junior. After this, we was actually going to we at Auburn, was going to watch Spanish Fort play, and I'm getting out the bus, and Coach Sessions pulled me to the side, and South Alabama offered me my first scholarship.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this, but I committed to South. Because I
Wow.
always said,
I
like,
didn't.
the first school that offered me, I was going to go to. That's why I used to say, like, like I said, it was a long shot in my head. So I really committed to South. And I ain't thinking to pick up, you know. So we go win the state championship. And I get back to school that next week, and it was just like the floodgates had opened.
Yeah.
You know, I had got offers. You know, I kept getting pulled out of class. I ended up getting like 10 offers that
Wow.
week, and I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Roll around that spring, Alabama offered me at a junior day, and it kind of was the same thing there. I didn't know that when Coach Saban offered me, I didn't know it.
Okay.
The way he worded it, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I didn't know I had got offered. You know, me and TJ went up there together, and Eric Lee, and TJ got offered, of course. You know, he was kind of on a whole nother trip when we went there. He was like with the elite guys. Like, it's probably like 5 or 6 guys that was there that was like they had in a special group.
Yeah.
So I didn't really
TJ
know.
was a special player.
Yeah, special. Oh my gosh, best player I ever played with, by far. And I get back. We get back from this junior day. We have our spring practice and everything. And I was talking to Coach Vic, and he was like, you know, Coach Pruitt trying to figure out what you waiting on. And I was like, in Alabama, I was like, waiting on? What you mean? I was like, they ain't offered me. I was like, I want to go there though. You know, after I went
Yeah.
and started visiting, I was like, it wasn't nowhere else that I wanted
Right.
to be. You know, I was already thinking about, like, I may have to go here or here or here or here. That's what the other offers was. Like, I didn't even really care.
Wow.
So when he called me and when he called me up there and we had this conversation, I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, they he offered you after a junior day. You know, they offered you. So I went and talked to Big Vic, and he was like, yeah. So when I left there, I called Coach Pruitt on my way home. I was like, I didn't even know, like, I had an offer. You know,
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, you know, on the junior day, you know, we want you to come. So I was like, I'm coming. He was like, you sure? I was like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm coming. Like, I ain't going nowhere. It's like, well,
Right.
come up for the spring game or whatever, and, you know, I want you to talk to Coach Saban, and I want you to tell him that, you know, because, like, it's serious. Once you commit to us, we don't really want you going nowhere else. Like, it's like, you got to honor that. He's like, Nick's big on kids honor their commitment. So I go up to the spring game, you know, see the whole spring game, and after, like, he called me up there, and I was like, I'm coming to Alabama. And he was like, what? Him and my mama, we was all together, and he was like, you talked to her about it? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
So I kind of shut it down after
So at
that.
first it was like you didn't know, and then all of a sudden when you did, you were like, "Whoa, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in."
Yeah, I'm still working, like,
Yeah.
trying to get offer from them. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta do more. I gotta do more. I gotta do more.
So when you got this offer from Coach Saban, by the way, I know that education is a big deal to Coach Saban, and when you're a student athlete at Alabama, what were your degrees in?
Consumer science was business, and I started my master's in sports management.
Wow,
So
that's awesome. So give us some insight because people will be really upset at me if I don't get some insight of what it's like to play for Coach Nick Saban.
As a 17-year-old kid, it was rough, you know. It was rough. You know, it was, I came from a football town, of course, you know what I mean? But I was at a point, you know, I was a big fish in a small pond. Of course, we had other players. We had great players at Daphne that went on and played in the NFL and also played in college.
Right.
But the turnover there was so different. The level of competition was so different. Like, every day I was playing against a guy who was better than me, you know, just as good, if not better than me. And I feel like that was, like, something I had to get used to, you know. Like I could get mad at in high school, and I could end the practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I can just make it where we couldn't get a ball off. I
Right.
couldn't do that there.
Wow.
So he was a guy that was big on accountability as well. Like Coach Saban was like, he holding you accountable. Like I may mess up a little bit on the play at Daphne, but I could run it down. I could do this, you know, and I got comfortable in that. I got there and started doing that, and it was like,
You can't do that here.
oh, he was like, nah, you in the wrong place.
Wow.
You know, you're in the wrong place if you think that's gonna slide. And we went at it a lot that first year, the first 2 years really. But
You and Coach Saban.
oh yeah, I was in a doghouse. I was in a doghouse like 3 years.
Tell me about what is it like being in the doghouse with Coach Saban?
Oh, it's rough. It's rough. It's honestly because he a great coach, a great leader, and he's like a father figure to all of us, you know. And I never really had that outside of coaches.
Yeah.
So he was another level. Like Coach Davis would get on me, you know, and that may be it. You know, we'll be back talking, you know, right then or that next day. You know, I go up and I be able to talk to him or Coach Yeldon. He was petty, and he's like a psych major, so
Yeah.
he play with your head a lot. Like you might be walking through the hallway getting ready for practice, you and two other dudes, and I know I done did X, Y, and Z. He be like, hey, what's up, TJ? What's up, Amar? And walk right by me. Like he don't see me at all. Like he used to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
So, like he used to mess with you.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
he taught me a lot though. You know, he taught me how to respond, you know, and how and why I should respond in certain ways. And
Wow.
he definitely did. Like as an adult now, you know, all the lessons that I learned there and all the stuff I was fighting, it's the same stuff that's carrying me over right now as I'm starting this new venture I'm in now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would
Are
say,
you excited to see where Alabama's going to go now in this new? Are you sad?
the day he retired, I
Could
felt
you
like
believe it?
I didn't. It felt like like somebody died. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it was a crazy feeling, you know. And I didn't even know I really like cared about him that much until then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
definitely. But I wouldn't say excited. I do have some feelings. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just don't know.
Right. I don't think
it's-
anybody does.
It's different. You know,
Yeah.
it's so weird. You know, going back up there and being around games and like knowing
He won't be there.
he not at the helm. You know,
Yeah.
so.
Well, it's going to be exciting season to watch, and interesting, I should say, I guess.
I think I definitely feel like, you know, with him at the helm, it was some games I wouldn't even watch because I know
Yeah.
like he gonna take care of it. But now I'm knowing I'm gonna be tuned in. Like I need
I need to know.
the SEC pass or whatever it is. I need every Alabama game.
Right.
I'm probably gonna go to more this year. So
Right.
it's just like,
That's good.
yeah, it's weird.
Well, so we've moved through Alabama. You got your degrees, and then you get drafted in the second round of the NFL 2017 draft. Tell us what that experience was like. And then what lessons did you learn in that season of professional football career?
Oh man, like I say, that was another. First of all, it was a great experience. You know, I'm always grateful and thankful for, you know, Dan Snyder, the Snyder family, and the Washington organization, Scott McLaughlin, Bruce Allen, those guys that drafted me. It was a great experience overall, I would say. You know what I mean? But it was a lot different. You know, I had to grow up again. You know, I came from a place to where I just learned all this stuff. I just went through all these learning curves from 17 to 21 years old, 22 years old, and I felt like I had it all figured out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I just went through, you know, being a red shirt, you know, not playing as much. Second year, you know, rotating as a third year guy. You know, I just have been working and grinding, you know, to a point where I established myself as a leader in that locker room, you know, and in that program. So it was like I felt like I was already prepared. I didn't have to change much, you know. So that's in my head I did. I get thrusted into Washington, into a culture that wasn't like anything I was used to at
Yeah.
any level. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, even at a high school level, Daphne was a powerhouse. We operated as such. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, we was one team. We had rules. We had culture. It was stuff that you didn't do.
Expectations.
Exactly. We had a standard even in high school. You know, like I said, like I grew up wanting to be a Trojan. Like if I had to go play at another school, I probably would have been in construction a lot sooner.
Right.
Honestly. So it's like then I go to college, and of course Alabama, we don't let nothing slide there. Like great players come in and they come and go. Like I seen guys, some of the most talented players I ever played with, never played past their sophomore year probably, or never played professionally. Because I saw them in college at that level, but they didn't make it because they didn't do the right things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get thrusted into this culture. I've been dreaming as a kid. You know, I stay up watching Sunday Night Football, and I'm thinking it's like this how it is.
One way. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I get there, it's the total opposite.
Tell us about that. What
No standard.
Okay.
No standard. The expectations weren't there. You know, in the locker room where I felt like everybody was, organization, front office wise, were delusional.
Okay.
You know, I felt like they was putting us in some bad situations. You know, as far as the weekend, and the daily grind, and expecting us to come out there and perform a certain way. But
Yeah. So it was not at all like you expected
not
it
at all.
to be.
It was a situation where guys, you know, you get playing everybody for themselves. You know, and I'm a team guy.
Yeah.
I've been in situations where the team always been.
Which is a lesson in itself, in that for young athletes, that what you think your ultimate goal in life is may not look like what you think.
Exactly. Stay
Right?
present.
That's good.
Stay present. Enjoy where you at.
Enjoy
in the
where you're
process.
at. Stay present. That's good. So why and when or how did you decide to step away?
Oh, 2019.
I think you and I talked about it one time. You just said the love wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
And
Like,
if it's not there, why go get beat up every day, right?
exactly. And like you watched me from a kid, and like we were just talking about earlier. Like I play the game one way, and it's only
right.
one way I can play it. The style of football I played, and that's by loving it. You know, that's me. I was like the type of player I prided myself on being was like a dirty jobs with Mike Rowe guy.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna get in that mix,
Right.
no matter where. I don't care how
That's
I
my
feel after the
favorite.
game. I don't care. I don't care how you feel. Like it's gonna be me or you, or me and you when it come to getting this done for the team.
Right.
Like I'm gonna die for the brand. I'm gonna die for this team. That's how I always felt. Like
Right.
I know that this is a dangerous game, and once that started leaving my head, like when I started being passive, like oh no, I'm gonna save myself. Like it was time for me to go.
Okay.
Cause I really, my heart wasn't in it. You know, my body wasn't in it anymore. You know, so it was time. So 2019, I really wanted to be like that. That was gonna almost be my last year. You know.
And it's sometimes how God just lifts that grace off of our life when seasons change
Mm-hmm.
in our life. And He's, you know, He called us to do one thing, and then He's shifting our calling,
Mm-hmm.
and He lifts that grace off of our life. That we, you know, we were in something that was hard, but there was a grace to do it because He had anointed us to do it and called us to do it. I firmly believe that you are anointed and called to be a great football player, you know, and God put that passion and that drive and those talents in you. That's who gives them to us.
No doubt.
And then when He's ready, okay, Ryan, I've used you on this platform. Now I'm ready to shift your focus and use you on this platform. It's almost like He just lifts that burden, or He lifts that grace in our life for it, you know?
I agree.
And I feel like that's what He did for you. And so when you stepped away from the NFL career, now God shifted you to a new career, right? Tell us about this.
I'm building 22 Bills. So
22 Builds. So what is that all about? What is 22 Builds about?
We're a home building company. You know, we focus on all levels of, you know, homes for real. You know, I'm focused on making a product now that'll be a more attainable product, and I also do stuff on the custom end. So
Yeah.
my projects are varying, and I'm also developing some out of my sister company, 22 Evolution.
Okay.
Acquiring some land and developing some lots out under that one as well. So I feel like it's all part of, like you say, that plan. I didn't know where I wanted to be. You know, I struggled with that mostly. And I tried coaching for a little bit. You know, I was in Maryland doing some of that before Pittsburgh signed me. And it wasn't for me. I felt like I had to stick close to football, but like I kept just getting this pull. Like, this ain't what you're supposed to be doing. It wasn't fulfilling to me. Like, I feel like my impact had to go further than that. You know what I mean? Like I said, it came back to here. I never planned on moving back home. Like
You didn't.
I avoided it Like every time it came up, I was like, nah, I'll be here. I was looking for houses in Texas. I was with Charlotte, DC, other parts. But it's like I didn't know where I wanted to be, but this is where I was supposed to be.
And when you said 22 Builds is for all ranges of homes and developments, I feel like that's your heart, is to give back to the community and make life like a dream home attainable for people. Like when I see some of the things that you've started and the projects you started, I'm like, oh, I get it. He's making this attainable dream for the people in the community.
Definitely. I moved around a lot growing up, me and my mom and sisters, we probably moved. We was just like on a lease, like a year-to-year setup. Well, we can get a lease set. So I lived in, the Foley area. I lived, South Baldwin on the Eastern Shore. I kind of bounced around, and I feel like that in its own just gave me a different point of view from anybody else that's doing this. Wow. I feel like if you ain't been through what I've been through, you ain't seen what I've seen. You know what I mean? You can't really come speak for certain people, and I feel like God blessed me and put me in a position to where, I've seen it, I've lived that way, but I've also been at the top. I've lived in some of the nicest places. I've had some of the wealthiest neighbors I could. You know what I mean? So I feel like it made me more versatile.
Absolutely.
I can relate to this person, and I can relate to this person, and I can honestly sit back and listen to you, and we can get an understanding,
of what somebody wants.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people come up with a certain product and say, it's about money. We're gonna give you this little bit for this little bit, and it don't really serve their needs. So that's kind of what I'm focused on with what I'm doing.
That's so good. You have a website. We're going to put that in our show notes
so
that people can see what you're doing, and if they're ready to build or ready to look at something, a project, or have something they have in mind, they can contact you, because I don't know anyone better that would help them and do that. And you have a whole community around you that you're working with. And I'm just excited to see all the things you're going to develop in Baldwin County. I know it's going to be awesome.
I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, for real. So I really appreciate it.
So, okay, we always do one fun last question. All right, can be anything, all right?
Okay.
I know you've been on the hot seat, so this is a fun last question. What is one thing that needs to be on our radar? Now, this can be a food, a restaurant, a book, a podcast. One thing that's one of your favorite things that you don't think, like it's low-key, people need to know about this, and they may not know about this.
Oh.
Is that too much?
I'm trying to think. It's broad. Okay.
That's okay. It's really broad.
It's broad. I can say I'm starting a podcast.
Okay.
Maybe we can look out for that.
There we go. Yeah.
Setting the Edge with Ryan Anderson. So
Setting the Edge.
Yeah, we're gonna be starting that.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, so that's something you could look out for.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay,
well, we will make sure that we have that available if people ask, but we'll definitely put 22 Builds on there. They need to follow you on all social media, because you put the things that you're doing out there. You're in Access Magazine right now, right? Is it Access?
It was
Not
social.
Access, Social.
I mean, social, yeah.
Social Magazine, that's right. Social Magazine. They have a big spread on 22 Builds, which is exciting. So we just want to thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for being part of Coastal Church. Thank you for coming back home. I know it wasn't on your radar, but we're really glad God brought you back home.
Thank y'all for having me, and always making me feel like home and like an extended member of not just Coastal Church, but the Stafford family,
Absolutely. I just sent you a picture of 11 years ago.
I was going to say, we go way back like this. Like, y'all, like for you to sit there, you telling me you watch me grow, I watch you guys grow as well, and this whole thing grow out. Like, so, it warms my heart too. Like I'm proud of y'all, and I'm happy for you guys. And
our son Evan taught you how to play Candy Crush back in the day.
Yes, got me hooked on Candy Crush.
No doubt. Funny.
I remember Evan running around at practice. Like now he's driving.
Now he's driving.
He's been like this big, running around, bringing us water at practice.
Well, you're an inspiration to so many, Ryan. Never discount what God's put inside of you. Never discount the greatness that He's put inside of you. And I know that you're using it for His glory and the good of others in our community. And we just want to thank you so much for being here today on Coastal Conversation.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it too.
Thank you for listening to this week's Coastal Conversations podcast. All of today's references will be found in the show notes. Also, if you enjoyed listening, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. We'll see you at Coastal this Sunday as we pick the conversation up from here.